We'll begin now. No? Hello, students. Welcome back to another lecture of English. And today we'll be continuing with the same lesson which I began yesterday, that is note making from the unit 3.3. All right, students. So we'll just go through whatever we have studied yesterday. We'll just have a short recap before I continue with what I'm going to tell you today. Right? So we were talking about the importance of note making as well as note taking. Now, over here, these both are totally different skills, but they are useful for you all, especially as you all are students. So, it helps you in guiding and helping you to make and take notes in a very good way. All right. So over here, the similarities between note making and note making we discussed yesterday, that it provides material for easy reference, both aid the students in remembering facts easier as it utilizes both reading and listening skills. Now both have the same purpose so that the students can excel in their studies, and it helps you all to concentrate better and effectively. Now, these were the differences between note taking and note making. All right. We saw that some few changes are required, whereas in note making, you yourself are doing or making the notes according to your convenience through various sources. What happens in note taking is that you are relying on one speaker or any one source only. You are not able to refer to a number of things, but in the note making process you are free to do so. You can read these differentiations later. Now we also saw the various styles of note making, that is tabular charts or tabular form. Then the charts are there, in which bar charts are there, pie charts are there, flow charts. Later, we have the line graph, tree diagrams, pictograms, maps, and plans. Now, yesterday, I had shown you a tabular chart in which some information about the rocks was given. And as soon as you look at this particular chart, you come to know the names of the rocks, how they are formed, and the various examples also, isn't it? Another example which I had given was your class timetable. Next, we saw a tree diagram. Right now, over here, this is related to the Indian Navy, and you can see that once you have a look at this particular tree diagram, you come to know the pros, isn't it? What are the positive sides of joining Indian Navy? What are the things they are offering, and what are the things take place? What are the changes that take place in your personality or attitude? And you can obviously log on to the website given and find out for yourself. Now, today I'll be showing you another chart. All right. Now, this is a pictograph. All right. Now, over here, the water cycle is given in a way of a pictorial description. A picture is given over there, isn't it? Sun is mentioned, then ground is there, water is being shown, and this is a very usual process which we have learnt in school. What exactly is the water cycle? All right. Earth's water is always moving from one place to another. This process is called the water cycle. In a continuous journey in which water moves between the land, the atmosphere, and the ocean. The sun's heat makes water evaporate or turn to vapor, which rises into the air. Over here, you can see in this particular diagram, some arrows are shown. All right. So it can be considered as a flow chart also. Due to the heat, evaporation takes place. All right. And then you can see the water vapor cools and condenses to form clouds. Later, rainfall takes place and rainwater runs into rivers and finally the ocean, and the same cycle is repeated. The next slide is how we use water. Now, over here, you can see a bucket and some percentage is given. The lowest, like in the lowest side, we can see 65%. All right. Now, what comprises of the 65%? How we use water. Now, we have already learned the uses of water right from when we were small or when we were in school. So we use large quantities of water, we drink it, wash with it, use it in industry, and also prepare food with it. Below are the percentages of the water that each person uses every day for these activities. Maximum percentage, that is 65% of water, is used in these things, that is food production. This takes up most of the water we use. Water is an essential part of our diet. Without it, our bodies would not work. All right. Then the next part, that is 30.6%, manufactured goods. Nearly a third of each person's daily water is used to make things. This includes items such as televisions and phones. The third section is 4.2%, and it is related to our personal usage of water. Washing, cleaning your teeth, and flushing the toilet use up this share. And only 0.2% of water is used for drinking. Only a small amount of water a person uses every day is for drinking. If you do the entire total, it would come up to 100%. Right? Now, when you look at this particular picture, you are able to understand everything properly. So, this is what note making helps us to do. Right? So over here, if you are given a question that looking at this particular picture, write a paragraph explaining this. So I think so you should be able to explain it only. You're not supposed to convert the percentage or do any calculations over here. But you are just supposed to tell what amount or what percentage of water is used for different purposes. The next slide is of a tree diagram. All right, now this talks about a village, that is Kaldhari. All right, and the various measures they are taking over there to create awareness of cleanliness and many other drives they are doing. All right, so this is one of the upcoming villages in India or Maharashtra, you can say, and they are having all these facilities. So once you look at the diagram, you will come to know what exactly Kaldhari is doing. They are showing many aspects over there. All right, so we'll just go through them quickly. Cleanliness, energy sources are solar and wind energy. Then the milk cooperatives, milk chilling centers, rainwater harvesting is done over there, and massive awareness drives are there, which consists of the tree plantation. Now they have planted many trees over there. All right, and the next one is anti-alcohol drive. Now this drive consists of the entire village participating in it, and in that particular place, that particular village, there are no shops of alcohol. So totally it is banned from these villages. And when we talk about cleanliness, they have concretized roads, they have tap water, toilet blocks, public lavatories. All right. So all these things Kaldhari is doing very efficiently. So, looking at this tree diagram, you should be able to write in your own words what is given in this particular tree diagram. Now, over here, there is a graph given in front of you. Now, we'll just study the graph and write a summary on the comparative study of the population in China and India. Now, this would also be known as a line graph. All right. Now, x and y axis are mentioned over there, and you can see population in millions, 800 to 1600. Fine. And in the next axis, you can see from the years 1990 to 2030. What was the population in India and China from a particular year, all right? And you can compare and write your own paragraph over here. Population in India, you can see from 897 to 1370. And the population in China 1190 to 1540. So you can see how it has been compared, what are the, like, you can know what is given exactly in this particular line graph, the amount of population in China as well as in India. Now the next slide talks about a particular chart. Fine. Look at the chart below and write a paragraph on the position of top 10 languages of the world. Now, over here in this particular chart given here, 10 languages of the entire world are mentioned. Top 10 languages of the world. Alright? First language speakers presented in millions. Fine? So now, as like from German to the Chinese language, if we see that there is an increase in the number, all right. So over here, you are supposed to compare and contrast and write your own paragraph regarding what exactly you are able to understand from this particular chart given below. And you can write in your own words. Obviously, you can write in the form of points or paragraph also. Next is an example of the pie chart. The following pie chart is based on the opinion polls conducted by Bombay Times on the popularity of fast food patronized by people. Give a verbal explanation to it. Now, over here, pie charts can be in different forms, circular, triangle, or pyramid shapes. All right. So, over here, when you do the entire total of all the percentage mentioned over here, it will come up to 100%. Fine. So, we can see what this particular poll, opinion poll conducted by the Bombay Times on the popularity of fast food talks about. So first, in the first place, I think so. There are many like pav bhaji is there, which comprises of the maximum percentage over here, that is 21%. Later, vadas, idlis, dosas, 15 and 17%. Later, we have pizzas, 18%. Hamburgers, 8%. Then Frankies and rolls, only 1%, and then later sandwiches 20%. Now over here, these percentage what is mentioned over here, we come to know how popular these food items are among the people. That's why it is denoted with the help of these percentages. You are just able, you should be able to give a verbal explanation about it, plus you should be able to write it down if the question is in that way. So make it a point that you read your questions properly, and then you will be able to either speak or write it down. All right. So you need to look at the diagram and the question properly. Again, over here, no calculations should be done in any mathematical forms. All right. All right. So today we will be beginning with Ayurvedic medicine facts. Now, this is again a part of the lesson which we began yesterday, that is note making. Now, some of the examples which I have given you earlier, they are not there in your book, but I have taken it from various sources, and I have tried to make it a little bit more easier for you to understand, like the various forms of note making. All right. So, over here, we'll be talking about Ayurvedic medicine facts. All right. Fundamentals of Ayurvedic medicine. Now, as we all know, that Ayurveda is an ancient medicine type of thing which people have done from ancient age, isn't it? So, how does it affect us? What are the different aspects which is related to our body? All right. So, this particular para or this particular passage will talk about all the things in Ayurvedic medicine, treatment, and the basic form of life. Fine. To understand Ayurvedic treatment, it is essential to have an idea of how the Ayurvedic system regards the human body. The basic life force in the body is prana, which is also found in the elements and is analogous to the Chinese notion of chi. As Swami Vishwananda Devananda, a yogi and expert, put it, prana is in the air, but is not the oxygen nor any of its chemical constituents. Now, over here, body is the basic life force in the body is prana, all right, which we also know as the soul. Now, it has some similar elements, all right, it is similar to the Chinese notion of chi. As Swami Devananda, a yogi, he has told that prana is not in the air, all right, but is not the oxygen. Prana is in the air, and it is not the oxygen what we are breathing, all right. So, what exactly does he want to say over here? We'll see. He says that it is in food, water, and in the sunlight. Yet, it is not vitamin, heat, or light rays. Food, water, air, etc. are only the media through which the prana flows. Now he is saying that prana is in the air, but it is not the oxygen. It is present in the food, water, and sunlight. All right. Please take a note of this, that it is present in the food, water, and sunlight. Yet it is not the vitamins. There are various vitamins which you all know, heat or light rays. Food, water, air are only the media through which the prana flows. In Ayurveda, there are five basic elements that contain prana: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These elements interact and are further organized in the human body as three primary categories or basic physiological properties in the body that govern all bodily process, known as the doshas. All right, now these five basic elements of prana, that is earth, water, fire, air, and ether. All right, now you have to keep these things in your mind. All right, these elements interact and are further organized in the human body, and three primary categories or basic physiological principles in the body are governed by them. They are known as the doshas. Now, there are many Ayurvedic doctors and people who have done a lot of research about all these things. The three doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Each individual has a unique blend of the three doshas known as the person's Prakriti, which is the reason why Ayurvedic treatment is always personalized. Now, over here, you have to keep in mind that in any Ayurvedic treatment, all right, the doctors will talk to you a lot. They will find out your entire history, like whatever allergies you're having, or what are the effects of various foods on your body. All right, so they will have a detailed description. You'll have to tell them in person. They are not going to just take a prescription and write down some medicines and give it to you in general. All right. So they categorize each and every individual into three basic main doshas. All right. Now, each and every person has a unique blend of the three doshas. All right. That is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. In Ayurveda, illness is regarded as a state of imbalance in one or more of a person's doshas, and an Ayurvedic physician works to adjust and balance them via a variety of methods. Now, different methods would be taken by the physician to actually find out what are a person's doshas, all right, where he is suffering or what problem is he having, due to what foods and his habits, eating habits, sleeping habits, and many other things. The Vata dosha is associated with air and ether, and in the body promotes movement, agility. Now, over here, we will be talking about the people who are having the Vata dosha. All right. Now, it is associated with air and ether. Air, obviously, we all know. Again, ether has a similar meaning of something which is colorless and may have or may not have any fragrance. So, and what is the impact of this particular thing on the body and how it helps or doesn't help a particular person? Now, the specifications are given of all the three doshas, that is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha dosha. All right. So, some unique things are given over here so that we will be also able to identify the people who are having these doshas. First one, that is the Vata dosha. Vata people are typically thin and light physically, dry skinned, very energetic, and mentally restless. Now, these people you can observe from their body types that they are thin, all right, they are on the lighter side, physically thinner. They have dry skin. They're very energetic and they're mentally restless. They keep on thinking about many things, all right. They are unstable, you can say. When Vata is out of balance, there are often nervous problems, hyperactivity, sleeplessness, lower back pains, and headaches. Now, over here, the doshas over here, typically about the Vata dosha, they are telling what problems these type of people may have, or the any person who may be having this Vata dosha, they will be either thin, dry skinned, very energetic, mentally restless also, as well as they would be facing some problems. All right, they may have nervous problems, hyperactivity, sleeplessness, that they are not able to sleep or have a good night's sleep every day. All right, they may have lower back pains, headaches. So these are some of the symptoms which the Vata dosha people may be having. The next one, that is the Pitta dosha, is associated with fire and water. In the body, it is responsible for metabolic processes and digestion. Pitta characteristics are medium built bodies, fair skinned, strong digestion, and good mental concentration. Now, over here, the Pitta dosha people or the people who are having this particular dosha, they are having some traits, all right, which are given here as follows. Their metabolic process is quite good, all right. They have a high metabolic content, we can say, which helps in better digestion, all right. Now, these people have a medium built body. They're not too thin or too fat, you can say, but they are medium built bodies. They are fair skins with they are having good digestion and a good mental concentration as well. Now, what are the problems these Pitta dosha people must be facing? All right. These problems can be stress related, like gastritis, ulcers, liver problems, and even hypertension. All right, that is high BP. Now these particular doshas, this pitta dosha is associated with fire and water. Please keep these things in your mind. And according to the Ayurvedic medicine, how these particular doshas have adverse effect on our body is mentioned over here. The last dosha is known as the kapha dosha. All right, it is associated with water and earth. Now over here you can see that in each and every dosha there is a combination. All right, only one particular thing is not given. Earlier when we saw that there are five basic things and they are in combination in each and every dosha. All right, now what are the characteristics of this particular dosha and the uh, problems what they are facing? People characterized as kapha are generally large or heavy with more oily complexions. They tend to be slow, calm, and peaceful. Now, over here, the kapha people, they're talking that they are large or heavy, all right? They can have oily complexion and they tend to be slow, they are calm and peaceful, all right? Kapha doshas disorders manifest emotionally as greed and possessiveness, and physically as obesity, fatigue, bronchitis, and sinus problems. So, here there are some problems given physically as well as emotionally. All right. So, they are related to this type of dosha, especially the emotional factor. If we see, it comprises of greed and possessiveness, which is one of the disorders of the kapha dosha. Physically you can see that they can be obese or they can have fatigue and bronchital problems and sinus problems also. So these were the three different type of doshas which are given over here for us to study, and these three, the kapha, pitta, and the other dosha, like they are important for any physician to understand, all right, so that they can give us the medicines in that particular way. Now over here there is one diagram given. Now you just have to go through the passage which we just did earlier, all right, just now what I have explained it to you. Let's read the question. Now let's complete the following diagram that represents prana and its elements. Now over here we are supposed to make notes. All right, not take notes. Taking notes, as I told you earlier, from only one source. All right. And over here, you yourself are going to make some notes given over here. Fine. Now the three basic doshas are given. All right. The basic elements are given. Bodily, like basic elements: earth, fire, air, water. Now there are some fill in the blanks also given here. So you have to fill up as you want to, according to the doshas. All right. So the first one we'll talk about, that is the prana. All right. Ayurvedic medicine, what does it regard prana as? What are the five basic elements? One, two, three, four, and five. I already told you the answer if you heard me properly. So, those are the five basic elements. Later, they are divided into bodily doshas, three doshas. All right, that is the vata, pitta, and the kapha dosha. Now, to solve this particular diagram, you will have to listen to the part of the lesson which I just taught you some time back. Or if you have your textbook, you can just read it quietly. And with the help of that particular passage, you are able to, you would be able to fill in all these blanks without any problem. All right, now this is just an example to show you how you can make notes. You can make your own notes, and I would really insist for you all to make notes on your own, because over here you are involved mentally, physically, you yourself are searching. All right. And what happens is learning process is better. You will never need to mug up things or paragraphs and lines, but you would be able to write in your own words. So, this is a very important technique you can follow for any subject. All right. So, getting back to the doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. How are they associated with Vata, air, and ether? Pitta, that you will have to find out. What about the Kapha dosha? Now, all these doshas are having a combination, as you can see. Kapha dosha has a combination of water and earth. What other characteristics? How can you identify or how can you find out what type of dosha a person is having? Characteristics are mentioned. Vata dosha, thin and light physically, dry skinned, energetic, mentally restless. So, in short form, you have written the main things over here. All right. Already these things are given in a on this particular slide and even in our textbook. The next type of dosha is a pitta dosha. Now you have to fill up that blank. What is that particular combination? All right. You can refer to the passage given earlier. The characteristics: medium built bodies, fair skin, strong digestion, good mental concentration. And in the Kapha dosha, we can see that blanks are given, and you will have to find out what exactly are the characteristics over here. All right. Now, I will tell you the answer over here that they are heavy. All right. And they have oily skins and they have problems emotionally also. Fine. Now they don't have a very good digestion, you can see over here. So all these 3 4 points you can just jot down in short. The next thing is imbalance shows. Imbalance. All right. What are the problems associated with all these doshas? Now, Vata dosha, you will have to write down. All right. Fine. Then the Pitta dosha, that they are angry, like you can see from their behavior. Aggression is there, stress related problems, gastritis, ulcers, etc. Kapha dosha, all these things are given and you can check in your passage as well. All right. So, students, we will stop with a lesson here. And tomorrow, I am going to continue with the brainstorming session. Again, one of the passages given over there, and some activities are there for you to solve. So, hope that you will read, go through the entire lesson, and try to solve this one activity which I have given you. If you don't have a textbook, you can write it down in your notebook. That would be very nice. All right. So, keep studying, stay at home. God bless you all. Thank you so much.